Hi, Trinity friends. I would love to be able to read a story to you today. This is Mrs. Litchell, and I have a book here from the Winkles. It says My Christmas Collection, and there are three stories here: The Legend of the Three Trees, Santa, Are You for Real? And The Tiny Star. I'm not going to read them all in one sitting, but I'm going to read one at a time to you. And today, right now, I'd like to read for you The Legend of the Three Trees. Now, this is a book that Mrs. Winkle shared with me, and she said that belonged to her family, that she read to their kids. So, let's get started. The Legend of the Three Trees. Life burst into the world on the third day of creation. From under the water, God brought forth the earth. Peeking up through the earth's soil, green plants waved like millions of tiny flags. Grasses, bushes, and trees grew into every size and shape. The trees towered above all. There were pine trees and poplar, olive and oak, willow and walnut. Each held its own seeds and fruit. And you can see all the different kinds that the artist has put on this page. Their seeds and fruits scattered as animals carried them from the trees. In a green valley, a fox dropped an olive pit. From that pit, a new olive tree with beautiful wood began to grow. Cool. And you can see the trees up here and the waterfall, and there's water back in there. And here's this tree with all of the olives that have gone there. And he's taken this one all the way over here. And that pit will grow into a new tree. Wow. Along a rocky shoreline, a stork dropped an acorn into a deep crack. From that acorn, a great oak tree began to grow. Oh, so cool. High on a mountainside, a clumsy goat knocked a log into a tree. The crash sent pine cones and their seeds spinning to the ground. From one of those seeds, a new pine tree began to grow. Isn't that cool? Each of the trees had great dreams of what it would become. The olive tree hoped that its beautiful wood would become a treasure chest, decorated with sparkling jewels. It would hold the greatest treasure in the world. That is a lovely hope. The oak hoped to become a mighty ship, strong and proud. It would carry kings and queens across the waters. That's a noble goal as well. Nothing wrong with that dream. The tall, majestic pine hoped that its towering branches would remind people of the glory of God's creation. It dreamed that it would always stay on the mountain and point people to God. Another wonderful dream to point people to God. Many years passed. The tree's dreams had not come true. The olive tree had become a simple manger for feeding animals. The mighty oak, the wood was made into a little fishing boat. There's the boat. And the great pine fell in a storm and lay in a heap of old lumber. But God had his own plan for each of the trees. One night, shepherds keeping watch over their flock saw an angel. A great light shone all around. The angel told them not to be afraid, for their Savior had been born in Bethlehem. Just as the angel had said, the shepherds found the baby lying in a manger. The olive tree had not become a treasure chest, but now, as a manger, it held the greatest treasure of all time, God's only Son, Jesus. The infant Jesus grew into a man and traveled to the very lake that held the oak fishing boat. One day, the little boat carried Jesus onto the lake with the fishermen. Suddenly, a great storm swept over the lake. The oak boat struggled with all of its strength so it would not sink. "Quiet, be still," Jesus said. The storm stopped. The oak boat felt Jesus' power. The boat had never carried a king of this world, but now it carried the King of Kings. Wow. Oh dear. One day, soldiers came for the forgotten pine. From the tree's trunk, they made a cross, and they placed Jesus on it. Under a blackening sky, the pine cross swayed as the soldiers raised it. The cross did not know if it could bear the weight of the man upon it, but it did. That day, Jesus died on the cross to take away the sins of all who believe in him. And ever since, the cross points people to God as a symbol of his great love for us. Sometimes the dreams that we have for ourselves are much smaller than the dreams that God has for us. The 3 trees' dreams came true, just not in the way they imagined. And so it is with each of us. For if we follow God's path, we will travel far beyond even our greatest dreams. Oh, how true. I hope you've enjoyed the story. Christmas will tell us the story again of how Jesus was born into our world. And so when you see a manger, you can think of the tree that wanted to hold great treasure. And it did. It held Jesus. We can hold great treasure when we have Jesus in our hearts. Have a great day, friends. I hope you enjoyed the story.